Hello and welcome to FCPTV. We are currently at the Brookridge Centre where we're going to be live streaming the council meeting, and they're just setting up now. So as soon as they've done what they need to do, we will then go over to them. So we're just waiting for everybody to get into line.
Do you know how many people are likely to be following this?
I don't know, but you are live now, so
That's all right. Yeah.
should have waved. Okay, so this says that we are having major streaming problems, and that's okay. So we're just waiting for everyone to come along. So what we'll do now is we'll just check out some of the cameras so you can see what we're looking at. So that's the chair and the clerk and deputy clerk. And that is some other of the councillors. And then we're going to go to camera 3, where we have some more. So we're going to go live over to them now.
21st of November. Apologies for absence have been received from councillors Clothier, Clark, Wells, Allen, Underhill and Pennell. Has anyone any other apologies? No? Okay. Evacuation procedure is through the doors you came in and through the entrance there marked with a little green running man. Actually he's white, but he's on a green background. Declarations of interest, Local Government Act 1972 and dispensations. Pat and Dave.
And the South Gloucestershire ones.
Yeah. Next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the council meeting held on the 7th of November last. Does anyone have any comments on the minutes? Pat?
Just a very slight thing which may be a typo or a misunderstanding. It's the minute 1338 the thing about the blue crack. And then with the local author Dick King Smith. It's where it was noted. The resolution is to speak to Westerly Parish Council to see if they would be interested in a joint plaque. For example, and because of where the comma is, it sounds as though the boundaries meet on Nightingale Bridge. But they were alternatives.
Okay, thank you. So either or.
Yeah. Any other omissions, amendments?
So I have a small one, just 1339. It says after the action point about the clerk, it says again recommendation, RE recommendation 17, and that should read RE item 9.
Okay.
Can I just check with Andrew? I'm not sure whether the sun is okay, but we have some young people sat on the windowsill just the other side. If you like, I'll go and ask them if they could move further away. Would that be helpful? Or you're all right? It's fine. Good.
Actually, well, I'm orally challenged, so if necessary, I'll wave at you, Dave, and you know what the signal means. Thank you for that.
One point, I think recommendation 16 there was an it rather than IT.
Right, okay, got that. Okay, can I have a proposition that's subject to the amendments that we've just discussed that we accept those minutes, please, and a seconder. Jane and Sue. All those in favour, please show. Thank you. Matters of report arising from the minutes not otherwise included on the agenda. Don't think there are any. Submissions from the public. I think the Willow Way Neighbourhood Watch are here this evening to talk about their report that they've submitted to us. Would you like to come and join us? Because I can't really see you or hear you from over there, so it'd be nice if you joined our meeting kindly.
Seats here if you want.
Good evening, sir, and your name, please.
Mr. Bobby.
Lovely.
Railway.
Fantastic.
I presume you read our agenda. The only thing I can add to that is a letter I got from Merlin, or Bob from Merlin, reference to the green. Now, if we've got to wait for turf to be put down, and we're not sure how long that's going to be. Now, there will be people wanting to play ball games and dog fouling. This is why we need some signage. That's basically what we've got here, is until they get approval, it's going to be turned back into a green.
Yes.
So it's just a matter of between turning it from a green when they landscape it.
Okay. All right. Does anyone have any comment on that? Dave?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the owners of dogs will be able to read it, and most of them are on the lead, I guess, so they'll get the message. But I know it's a challenge, because Beesmore Road playing field and at the park, it's very difficult, despite notices and challenges.
Yeah.
So I wish you well.
Yeah, we do agree with that, but the problem is walking around the streets. I see it in front of my house, and the locals in Willow Way, people got these long leads, dogs 5 metres behind them, and the dog's doing what he's done, they're in front, and they just walk away and leave it. This is the problem.
Excuse me, can I speak? Also, around the compound where the green is, they've closed off where they can put the dog mess into the dog bin. No one can get to the bin, no one can get to the rubbish bins.
It's actually fenced off at the moment, they can't reach the dog out in the bin.
Now that is this problem. I mean, what do you do with it?
Yeah, people are actually chucking it under the fence or leaving it.
You get the people that are responsible for the compound to sort it out.
Yes, exactly.
Because after all, it's them that are causing the problem there.
Could I suggest that Parish Council write to Sarah Durbin, who's taken a particular interest in this development, and highlight that problem?
Okay.
On the other issue of all games, I know there are mixed views amongst the tenants. There may not be yourselves or your neighbours, but there are other people I know who feel that children need somewhere to play. And because I've knocked on the doors down there many, many times, I've met people who said part of my enjoyment in my old age, even though I'm bedridden or having to sit on a sofa near the window, is actually to watch the children play. So I think there are mixed views about children and play, and therefore I think a consultation might be necessary to see what the balance of opinion is.
You're probably correct there in one sense, but we are sitting around the green, and it's not just sitting out watching the children play. We're not out to stop the children playing.
No.
Right? We're trying to stop the balls being kicked into houses, vehicles, other people's properties, and causing damage.
Yeah.
If they want to play ball games or kick a ball about, there's plenty of other places. You've got Beesmore Road, you've got Mallet Primary School, you've got Park Farm, you've got Crossbar. All the lads want to go over there, kick a ball about. Why can't they go over there? You know, rather than damage people's properties.
Yeah.
They have got an alternative.
Yes. I mean,
And also down in Bell Road, we had this out a few months ago in Bell Road. They've got a play area, Merlin have already commented on that, but that is an ideal place, it's fenced off and it's safe for the children to play.
Yeah, that's obviously all right if they're not 3 years old or 4 years old. But under those circumstances, I think there's a balance to be struck. I don't know what Merlin's policy is on this. They obviously have got lots of developments across South Gloucestershire, and it'll be interesting to see what their response is. I think it's right that it should be mentioned from the Parish Council, but put as a question rather than
I mean, it is a problem that has been highlighted before, and when we looked at the play area, we did look at banking to stop the ball sort of flying off into people's gardens, but yeah.
So can I just remind, I think it was about 2 summers ago, and I'm not sure if you went, but on the Ridings Road area, Merlin were running a consultation about that piece of land and what to do with it and how to landscape it.
Yeah. They've already done that. They've agreed to landscape it. They give us plans.
So you've got a
how to
plan,
do it.
okay.
But until they do that, we're faced with the green and the normal problems with the green.
So it's just the
Until
in
they
between.
landscape it and then decide what signage we need, it's going to be well open to everything.
Yeah.
I suspect that it might be, now that the bad weather is with us, that this might take a while. So perhaps we could ask Merlin when they're planning to complete the work.
Well,
I mean,
I think the
we
weather's
are slightly limited in what we can do.
outlined.
Oh,
I don't
right.
know if anybody's seen that as well. That's what they.
That's been consulted, hasn't it?
Yes, that Merlin has already said that is what we'd like to do. Well, they give us 2 plans, all the residents, and it was voted on, and that was a plan that all the residents accepted.
Yeah.
Do we know whether it's been handed
That's the
over to
one on the
Merlin?
Willow Green, yeah.
Do we know whether it's been handed over to Merlin yet? It wasn't Merlin's land, it's South Gloucestershire land, but proposals came out of bits of open space. Some bits of open space to be handed over to Merlin, but I don't actually remember seeing whether that's been implemented or not.
Well, the last thing I had from Merlin, they were waiting for approval from the South Gloucester Council to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So until they've approved it, we're going to get nothing done right now.
Yeah. Has that come from Merlin?
That's come from Merlin, yeah.
Is there a chance that we could have a copy of that or take a
Want a
photocopy?
Yeah, by all means, take a copy.
Yeah.
We'll
Sent by
Please.
email.
Can I ask which actual piece of land you're talking about? The bit at Ridings Road and the bit at Bell Road?
The bit between Willow Bay
Yes.
and Oglands Avenue, that triangle there.
And they're going to put the equipment on there?
Sorry?
No.
Oh no, just landscape.
Reinstatement is agreed.
Who's going to take the ongoing stewardship or the ownership of the land? Is it going to be
Well,
Merlin or is
apparently
it?
it's going to be turned over to Merlin eventually. So
So then it's
Merlin's responsibility.
But at the moment, all these bits of open space belong to South Gloucestershire. They were not transferred to Merlin.
Not yet, no.
We've had a consultation as councillors some time ago now, so I can't remember exactly which bits are going. Whether these bits of open space should be made over to Merlin, but I haven't seen the decision. I don't think the decision's been made yet.
Is there any way that you can?
Well, I mean, it will go through due process, I guess. I could check, but I'm pretty sure it hasn't. I mean, this is...
Who's going to do the future maintenance on here?
Well, it'll be Merlin if it's handed over, and if it isn't, it'll be South Gloucestershire.
Because it's a maintenance nightmare, really.
But
Go.
can I ask as well that the dog bins are released then so that they can get at them?
That'll be down to Lovell. They put the fencing around it, so they want me to put the fencing outside it instead of behind it.
I mean, we can certainly make some noises about that, can't we? We'll write to everyone, I think. Merlin, South Gloss, everyone.
on the back of it, you've got, if you turn it over, you've got the pages, the type of things they could put on it. It's plan 2.
I think it would be quite nice if part of it was, you know, if it could be more used for the children to play. But I do sympathise with your problem with balls, particularly the thought of them children running across the road after the balls and cars driving around there. It's kind of it's almost like a traffic island, isn't it? There's a lot of cars.
With so many more dwellings there now, we've got more children, more vehicles. There's a big risk there now. It's not fenced off. Down in Ridings Road, but they're telling us Ridings Road is partly fenced off.
It is fenced on
Yeah, kind of raise the profile every now and again. Just been discussing with Naomi that we're actually due to raise the profile of dog fouling, because we do it periodically to try and continue to raise awareness and get people to pick up and stuff. So I think now is a good time to do that again and maybe focus in on the problems that you've been experiencing and trying to get a bit more publicity and people to adhere to what is only common decency, really.
Yeah, it's not only in front of our house, it's everybody, it's everywhere.
Yeah, no, it's a village-wide problem, it really is. But yes, we'll raise the profile for you as much as we can.
David, you remember about the bench which was on that green? You know, it's been there for, I don't know, 30 odd years. And I think it was donated by the Parish Council.
Very likely.
Well, one of their forklift drivers ran over it. And they said they're not going to replace it. So, you know, my brother was the one which put the base down and everything for that seat.
Well, I think that should be raised with Merlin stroke level.
Because
Well,
one Merlin,
Merlin said they will.
if I can jump in on that one,
Nothing was going to replace it.
they maintain they would leave it as they found it. It was there, the seat was there, so they're going to leave it without the seat. So that's not as they found it.
No.
Now that's come from Merlin, apparently. So they sent one of the residents a letter saying they're not going to replace it.
Okay,
So we just have to wait and see.
right.
It's a nice place for a seat, isn't it?
Well, a lot of the older people who use it first stop on whilst they go to the shop thinking it's somewhere to sit.
Especially if they don't have flowers on it, and something to look at.
Well, it make a difference what we're going to look at rather than look across a basic flat marine. Because Merlin maintained they would leave it better than they left it started off with. So if they're going to enhance it a little bit, all the better. You know, and enhance it is for the green, for the whole village as well. You know, we're going to be turning into a city the way we're going. We won't have a village anymore. So the village green we've got now, let's make use of it.
Absolutely. Okay. Caught everything that you wanted us to catch, do you think? Yes. Have we caught everything that you wanted to bring in the meeting?
I think so, we would love to have seen that the children of the village would have helped plant the things up, but that's not out of our hands because we were going to plant it up ourselves and get the children from the schools. Because I think if kids from the schools, they start doing something like that, they respect her place, don't they?
This was
They help
suggested
and
to
they
Merlin.
plant it.
It's already been suggested to Merlin that maybe the local children would like to help plant, and they will have less tendency to go vandalise it. But that hasn't been brought up in what they've said. They haven't mentioned it and get the schools involved. But it's been suggested already. We suggested it.
Well, both CME School and Watermore School do a lot of work with planting, with floral friends. So it's not that they're not used to it, they actually welcome the opportunity. So I think that should be mentioned as well, Chair.
It doesn't look very child-friendly plan, does it, particularly?
Well, I think what it is because they say that the little playing area is just round the corner. There's no need to have a child-friendly place. It's for the residents, so we can all
enjoy.
Yeah, because they've only got to walk around the pathway just across, and they've got a play area. They've got their swings and their
And really play area, perhaps a more interesting footpath or something that the children could run around. But
Well, to be fair to Merlin, they did consult with all the residents,
Yeah.
and they chose.
They chose that.
Mm. Okay, well, thank you both very much for coming this evening, and hopefully we can move things forward for you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you like. Thank you. Okay, the next item is another submission from the public, which has come via the website, and it's concerning parking and other things around Beesmore Road area, I believe.
I can only say I absolutely agree with it 100%. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
You're going to declare an interest then?
Oh, should I?
So you're dressing up as a traffic warden, are you, Sue?
Presumably that goes for highways, does it? Something?
It's
Street care.
No, it goes to street care with the
I was going to say we can pass on the comments to street care.
Yes, it needs repainting.
What's her name? Tracy?
Handle it.
Yes, thank you.
No,
Maybe
street
send a
Nice
copy to
highways.
her, because she
street care to get the
she
painting.
deals with the recommendation of painting lines and whatnot, doesn't she?
Yeah, but if it's ones that are there already, it's street care.
Oh, right. Are you all happy that's how we should deal with that? Yep, okay. Moving on, submissions from members, there aren't any. Reports from committees, working groups and the clerk.
The chair, I didn't get in quick enough. I don't know whether you want me to bring it up now or under the item of consultation, but we do have an urgent need to discuss the consultation that's going on about the joint strategic plan.
Sorry, about the what?
About the changes, the proposed changes to the joint strategic plan,
Right.
because the timescale is very short for responding to them, and can leave it to the consultation, because I assumed it would be in the consultation section.
You only got it, I think. Yes. No, I got it this morning.
Well, it was,
Okay.
it was on the agenda at Acton, which is why they must have been sending them out in bits, because it was discussed there on Monday.
On Monday.
So when's the expiry date on that?
It's the 7th of January or something.
Doesn't give us a great deal of time, does it?
Yeah. That's why I'm busy. So shall I leave it to the consultation section or?
Yeah, the only thing is because it's not on the agenda, you won't be able to make any resolutions as a council about it. So we can defer it to the next meeting when we can share that documentation, and then
We
council
need to
can...
be ready with what we want to discuss. So
I mean, we can email round everyone that it can be done as a private submission, can't we? And then it can go on the agenda also.
Well, if that happens, then Pat, the consultation is on a document which presumably could be emailed to members of the parish council.
It's on the website.
All right, it's on the website, so it can be linked. So there could be a click on straight to the website.
Pat, if you want to email everyone and tell them how important it is, that would be nice.
7th of January, that's right.
Oh gosh. We don't want to stop.
Well, it's not South Gloucestershire's fault this time round. It's the inspector. All comments now goes, well, they go via South Gloucestershire Council, but they go straight to the inspector. The council doesn't deal with them. So the timescales were set by the inspectorate, and it's very tight timescale.
Okay. We could put it on our website as well, the link, so the members of the public can access it also.
Chair, at the annual meeting there was a lady who came who was very into planning.
Oh, yes.
And I suspect we may have her contact details. But I mean, my question is, if it goes round to councillors and it's a significant planning document, unless they're pointed towards the bits that affect Frampton Cotterell Parish, it is unlikely to, at this time of year,
Interest many people.
it's likely to be heavy reading. It might be better if there was some highlighting of the parts of the document which are relevant to Frampton Cotterell Parish.
And if I was cynical, I would say, I wonder why they timed it at this time of year.
Yeah, well, that's a really good reason for making sure they get a response. But
Okay, Dave.
how might that be achieved?
Well, it was, I mean, it hasn't been published for long. In fact, one of the papers still isn't published. The one on the environmental assessment still hasn't been published, or it has, it's just been done today. And there's a whole load of papers. I haven't got round to any more than skimming some of them. But also included in that which might be of more significance to us because there's no big changes proposed at all. So really what you would be doing probably is expressing disappointment that they haven't done any changes. It's really about more information that the inspectorate asked for. And this is the outcome of South Gloucestershire officers considering the putting together the extra information to try and satisfy the inspectorate to persuade them to accept what they put forward. But also, perhaps of more significance, lurking among the papers that they're publishing is the Call for Sites paper. And that's where they just called for sites. So anybody, including landowners in Frampton Cotterell, that fancied selling off their land for housing have put in proposals. Now, I haven't looked at them, but I was having a problem with my computer jumping around, so I haven't looked at them properly yet. But that needs to be looked at because there'll be some small sites that are dear to our hearts that have been put forward.
Okay, Dave.
Okay. To try and move it forward and deal with it, Andy and Pat are both very concerned about planning issues, and last time when there was a requirement to deal with planning amongst the Naomi staff, Debbie helped and responded within a couple of days. And I just wonder if it might be helpful if Pat and Debbie and Andy could put their heads together briefly to come up with a list of issues that
In
may be
preparation.
really important to local residents to help.
Are Andy and Pat happy to do that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Of course they are, Susan.
By the sound of it.
Naomi, you content also?
Great then.
Yes, I think that's a yes, provided Andy is happy to be volunteered. Of course he is.
You've heard the camel and the piece of straw, haven't you?
Soon.
Would it be of use to ask the lady whose name I've forgotten to attend as well, who's already prepared one, who volunteered to help?
Well, that was a neighbourhood plan that she prepared, but sorry, we can invite someone.
Yeah, Debbie would need to coordinate the timing to suit.
Yeah.
Or maybe not suit the people that I've suggested.
Okay, lovely. Glad that everyone's really interested.
It's the 12th, isn't it? the next
Could
meeting.
have a open day with councillors there.
That's going too far, Kim.
What did you ask him?
Could have an open day.
Sorry?
Just that's what I have.
Sorry. Okay. Right, moving on. We're going to leave item 9 until the very end because obviously we're streaming live, so it would make more sense to finish with that at the end of the agenda rather than exclude the press and public.
Yeah.
So we'll crack on with the report from the clerk regarding working groups and committees, ratifying terms of references and recommendation that the finance working group becomes a finance and general purposes committee. So, Naomi.
You will have seen in your agenda packs a draft set of finance committee terms of reference. Kim and I had some really helpful feedback from councillors Beecher and Toovey. We had omitted that it was finance and general purposes, which Councillor Toovey really helpfully flagged for us. So we have taken on board that feedback and produced a revised set of terms of reference, incorporating that feedback that we've had. Kim, you've got it in front of you. I don't know if you want to go through it.
So, if I start with Councillor Beecher's, why 7 councillors? It's just a number. It can be whatever the council decides it needs to be on the bank mandate. So that's fine. The things that you raised, why are some of them recommendations, is because it's a committee. Although it's a standing committee of the council, it still remains a committee, so there are certain functions that it can't perform, but only full council can perform at a council meeting. So that's why those things are recommendations only.
But that would be referred business. It wouldn't be. It would be referred. The term is referred business, that it goes back to the council.
Okay. So you wouldn't want the finance committee to put together the budget to then.
No, I'm not saying you don't have.
So you want it to say referred instead of recommend.
You should have 2 sections. One where it's delegated and one where it's referred, and it's just not clear. I'm really sorry.
Okay.
I think it's clear it needs further work.
That was, to be honest, my main comment. It needs a lot more work.
It does.
Because it's currently not a cogent piece of work.
No.
It is a draft, and we
Yes.
presented it to you
Yes.
for your
Yeah.
feedback, so which we value and appreciate, because at the end of the day, as a committee or as council, you have to own the terms of reference, so it's important
And
that
I
you have
worry
them.
that if you set up other committees, you have to have all the terms of reference in the same format. So this one you've got to get really straight.
Yeah.
So there's one more item that would be a referral, which is the appointment of the clerk, which is not on there currently, so that will be added. Councillor Tooby's feedback was yes. To deal with other matters referred to the committee by full council, yes, as long as it has the power to resolve, would be my point with that.
Well, they might want your recommendation. They might not be asking you to resolve it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They
So
might
we
say,
just
let's
need to
refer it
carefully
finance,
word that
see
one.
what they want, and then
Yeah.
refer it back.
And a monitoring subcommittee instead of one person, no reason why. Why not?
So I had just a query with the subcommittee. because we're recommending that full council sit on the Finance and General Purposes Committee, if it was a smaller finance committee of, say, only 5 or 6 members, I'd say, yeah, absolutely, have a subcommittee just for those checks and balances. But when you've got full council sitting on the committee, if you then have a subcommittee, you're not going to have new members who are sitting on that subcommittee because they're already on the full committee. So that's the only thing I'd ask council to consider.
Well, that would be the same with one member, wouldn't it? Exactly the same.
If you had just one member checking, it's going to be the same member who's in full council.
Yeah,
So
it's just the same.
yeah, but that's why I'm saying I don't
think
know
it's
if
very onerous for one member to have responsibility for that. I do.
I absolutely agree with you.
Yes.
I absolutely agree.
I think that came from the internal auditor, actually.
But it's
You can
It's
do what you
not
want.
right.
You don't have to follow those recommendations, you know.
yeah, you can. But
You can-
sometimes
You
they,
can change them.
I think it's dangerous, and I think also that it's unfair on a member.
Yeah.
When would we have a subcommittee of that committee?
Well, you might not. You could have 3 members, couldn't you? But just one is one and the clerk or the RFO. It puts. It's not safe.
Well, you might decide that you don't need a subcommittee.
No, I'm just
Yes.
asking in
Yes.
what instance, what circumstance would a subcommittee be actually appropriate? That's what I'm asking. I'm interested to
For
know.
specific projects or looking at specific tendering, going out to tender on things rather than
It would be
The whole
really
budget.
onerous to bring it to the full council,
Yeah.
which is what we would do.
Yeah.
You'd want them to go around and look at tenders.
So like a working group then, essentially.
It's a subcommittee of the committee, yeah. You
the
don't have the
subcommittee
whole
still
vote,
has
but you
delegated
do need
authority.
them. Can you imagine all the people trying to go through all the tenders without any...
Well, you
No.
might, as a council, you could
And I
decide.
can't imagine the budget either.
No.
That scares me, actually.
What's
Is it-
everybody discussing the budget scares you?
Yes. Yeah.
You
I mean,
might want a budget.
it takes long enough to do it
You,
with 5 members.
As council, you don't have to have full council sitting on your finance committee. You can reduce the size. I spoke to the SLCC this afternoon and they said, really, you don't need to have full council sitting on your finance committee. You can keep it smaller, and if you then want to have a subcommittee, that's actually better practice because then you've got different members sitting on it. But I know that as a council, you guys all like to be very involved in things, so you might not be comfortable having a finance and general purposes committee with only 7 or 8 members on it.
Especially with a lot of
Delegation.
And that's the thing, if
Yeah.
you're delegating, then
Yeah.
other people are going to come.
You'd have to reduce the delegation then, and then we'd still be discussing it at the full
Yeah.
council.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is this your because you said to me some time ago that your idea was that we had a full council meeting
Yeah.
and then a finance meeting, so alternate
Yeah.
every fourth
Yeah.
Wednesday would be
So
one
you're
or the
still
other.
meeting twice a month.
Yeah.
Um,
And then there would
but
be
it just
any other
divides
business.
the business basically to council business and then anything that's relating to finances, contracts, tendering.
But at that meeting we would also do planning.
We do the planning that needs
Of both meetings, planning would be addended
Yeah.
onto the end so that you catch it.
I mean, we could suck it and see, couldn't we?
But it means
But
if things...
I must admit the thought of a full council meeting to look at the budget,
but that happens once a year.
I
And
know.
it's
but it's 3 meetings usually, isn't it, Kim?
Yeah, it takes a long time.
And they're 2.5 hours just to do the budget.
But at the moment you have a situation where you have a finance working group and there's a lot of ping-ponging backwards and forwards. With the budget anyway, that finance committee can't make those final decisions, but at least it would streamline the process in as much as full council are there discussing it, making those decisions, and then when you make the recommendations to full council, you are all the ones who've made those recommendations, so they will go through.
But generally speaking, once the working group's done the budget, rarely does council amend it. I can't remember the last time they did, actually. Can you?
And those meetings doing the budget is quite intensive, isn't it? We do have to sort of get our heads down.
It's quite technical.
Really look at it and think about it.
Dave,
Okay, first subcommittee is going to be formed. Number of 3 was mentioned, but if it's being given a task to do on behalf of finance and general purposes, then I would have thought there's a real risk that unless you have a quorum for the subcommittee, it could be just one person.
You must have, if it's a committee, you must have
reference.
Yeah.
and that subcommittee would have terms of references. But if you're saying that you wouldn't want full council discussing the budget, that's a time when you could have a subcommittee of a group of people who are experts in finance and are really keen on looking at the budget, and you can have that subcommittee and then they get together to discuss the budget.
10, doesn't it?
And then that can then be sent back to the Finance and General Purposes Committee and ultimately back to the full council.
That could work.
Yeah, I'm just making the point that there does need to be a quorum so that...
It's a committee, it would have to, and it would
Yep.
be open to the public, and it has its terms of references, and it's minuted properly, and it's,
And you could just set them up ad hoc and this
committees can be created and disbanded as and when.
Could we set in stone that there would be a budgeting committee once a year?
You could put it as part of your terms of reference.
Would that be okay?
I'm not sure what
Why
we're
are we
going to
discussing it
achieve
more
by
than
doing
once a
this.
year?
Because it takes that long to go through the
I'm going to go on holiday in October and November.
People who are interested in certain things, making sure that gets fed in through the budgetary process. I mean, we have been sort of going astray from our budget quite a lot. And hopefully, if there were more people involved, you wouldn't go astray from your budget so much because you would have thought about those things when you were doing your budget.
But the other side of it, when was the last time we had to buy some expenditure?
I think last meeting, wasn't it? Or the meeting before?
It's not a regular occurrence.
No.
It's an irregular occurrence.
We're pretty good at our budgeting, actually. We're pretty good with our budgeting. We haven't over budgeted.
We've been
Well,
well
we've
trained.
been all right, but some of it's been because we've filed things over that we haven't spent.
We've got a lot of spare money.
Kim's trained as well, haven't you, Kim?
A lot of spare money because we don't spend it.
So,
Can I just ask why you think that it's so much better to do it this way than the way we're doing it at the moment?
I think it's just a better way to divide what the council business. Both are open to the public, but public might want to come to see the finance. They might want to come to the general meeting, the full council meetings more. I think for us in the office, it's a much better and more efficient way to run because we've got our minds are split between this meeting and this meeting, and the rotation that we're on divides the work much more neatly and clearer. I think it's easier for you as councillors if you know you've got your finance papers for this week's meeting and you've got full council, the following week. There are lots of arguments for it.
The theory, Sue, is really that a smaller group could deal with certain. You could have. I mean, when I joined, we had about 6 different committees, but none with any delegated power, so they're not technically committees. But
Except
the theory is that they can take a lot of the work off of full council, and when full council meets, it concentrates on full council matters.
But isn't that what we already do? That's
Well, no, because everything that the work because everything that the working group considers has to then go on the main agenda and go
it gets
before full
considered
council.
all over
Whereas you would
again.
have made that decision that day in that committee, finance committee, let's call it.
it's like doing double bubble
And
all
you
the
wouldn't
time.
have had, to bring it back to full council.
I mean,
What
most,
I'm saying,
to be,
what you're saying is
Sue,
it's going
to be fair, most other councils do organise themselves in this manner,
Yeah.
and Susan tell you.
Well, you're talking about having subcommittees to the main committee, and then they'll have to go back to the main, and it just seems like...
But that's for a one-off, and that's a suggestion that
That's
some
just
of your
the
fellow
budget.
councillors have put forward with regards to the budget, because
That's the only
they may
concern I have.
necessarily not want to be included on the budget conversations. I think also for the office staff, with 2 meetings taking place a month, which are general meetings of covering anything, we are on a treadmill, and we have 2 weeks, well, a week really, because I have to get, after today's meeting, next week I have to get my papers out for the following week. So we have these really tiny windows in which we're operating to actually try and carry out any of the action points that come up as a meeting. Whereas if the business is divided, we know we've got slightly longer for the finance and slightly longer for the full council meetings to get that business and those action points covered.
If we listen to Naomi and she proves that it's a more efficient way of doing things, that means the council as a whole gets things done better and quicker. So I think we should give it a shout. I really do.
So are we, just for clarity and for the minutes, is there a resolution that council will, from the new year, adopt a finance and general purposes committee, and then at the next meeting we will come back with better terms of reference for approval or for adoption?
The new year, you mean the...
2019, from January 2019. No, not the financial year. From January 2019, Frampton Cotterell will...
And then we...
Susan, do you want to propose that?
Yes, I'm saying.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm
Dave?
happy to second it. There's no point in having a clerk who's making recommendations to the council and understands the benefits and the costs if you're not going to take advice.
It'd be a much more efficient way of this council operating.
Okay, so we're all happy with that?
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you very much. The water fountains. This one's interesting.
A little baby.
Yes.
So these are recommendations that the finance working group has put forward. And the report tells you what I found, which isn't a lot. There isn't a lot out there. There's an awful lot of American companies, but the English companies don't seem to be.
That's why you spelled gauge wrong.
There's loads of them in America.
Did I?
Everywhere. Everywhere you go.
Yeah.
There was in Spain.
Was there?
Sue, have you got any thoughts?
Well, I was very keen on it. These aren't the ones that I found on the internet. That wasn't necessarily they're any better. The ones I found were stainless steel. But you know, does what it says on the tin, doesn't it? It does what we want, what we asked for. We want something to refill the bottles, something to provide drinking facilities, and several people asked that we had some sort of facility for dogs.
Yes, exactly right. The dogs.
Spoon
Okay. Anyone got any other comments on the 2 options?
I don't think we want one.
Yes, where?
Sorry? Where?
Yeah.
The park. Because we're trying to reduce the single use of plastic at sport. So, I mean, you could buy 3 and put them all around the village, but I think you could start with the
try
park.
it out
We
first.
try one, because if there's a problem with that, we just
Absolutely.
put it in the design.
Yeah, see how good it is and then roll it out, as they say. So,
Did you think to consult with
yes.
Bristol Water? Did you ask Bristol Water if they got
Yeah,
any
we
thoughts
did, and
about it?
they are running It's a campaign, I can't think of the
Yeah.
name now. Debbie got in touch with them and we just got absolutely no response. But the initial response was you need to engage South Gloss need to engage with Bristol Water. We rang South Gloss, we spoke to them, they thought it was a great idea, but we just got no feedback on it at all.
No.
And the last discussion I had with one of South Gloucestershire officers just said, if that's what you want to do, just get on with it. So that's what's caused the delay.
I thought that Bristol Water were advertising a fountain.
They've got one in the Millennium Square, yeah. And so you can, if you join this Refill Revolution, it's called, you can get on the Refill Revolution map. And so the theory is you get your app up and you know where you can go and refill your bottle depending on where you are in the country. But we didn't get much response from that. We're South Gloucestershire, aren't we, not Bristol?
Have we spoken to the sports clubs over the sighting of it, or is that something
Perhaps
done IDC?
Discuss sighting, I mean that's...
It's going to be at the park, is it?
It's going to be...
Yeah, I mean that's the obvious place to put it.
It is the first one.
Okay.
So is the option that's being recommended wall mounted or floor mounted?
Floor.
And do we know whether for each of these two options, the customer satisfaction comments that are associated with them?
Yeah, there is stuff on the website and I've had a look. One of the councils I've tried calling it's in Wales somewhere. They've got one in one of their areas, so I'll keep calling them, see if I can get somebody to talk to me. But yeah, there are other places, universities.
It would be good to know that the option that we've chosen it because it is well received.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can be reassured.
Susan.
Are we going for the wall-mounted one or the... Does
Floor.
it say in
It does say there's a wall-mounted one. It's not clear whether it's plus 2,000.
So you have a choice. You can go either for the floor. There is a wall-mounted version of that, or you can have both.
Wouldn't it be easier
Cheaper.
wall-mounted on the pavilion so that it was near the services?
You won't get the dog bowl, obviously. You'll only have a certain height, whereas that height there complies. The middle one complies with children and the DDA.
Oh, does it?
Plus, you've got the dog at the bottom. So I'm letting you know that there is a choice. You do have a choice.
Is that 2,000 extra on top of 4,000 or instead of 4,000?
Wall mounted would be 2,000, floor is 4. So it'd be 6 if you wanted both.
So it would be cheaper?
Yeah.
2,000 cheaper. 2,000 for the dog.
2,000. So
I feel that a floor-mounted one would be less subject to vandalism than a wall-mounted one. I think a wall-mounted one could possibly be pulled
How
off
can we
the
get
wall
this
with
off?
enough determination, whereas the floor-mounted ones, if they're anything like they were when we were children, are quite sort of solid and sturdy, and because every park had a drinking fountain when we were kids, didn't they? When the older members of us were kids.
And the school playground.
Yeah, they were everywhere. I don't know what happened to drinking fountains, but you could always get
Well,
drinking
they've
water.
kept on selling fizzy drinks instead, haven't they? And special waters.
It says the fountain comes in 12 colours. Can we know what the colours are?
It's got 12 of them. What more do you want?
No, it doesn't mean that.
I
Does
can
it?
email you all the colours.
Sorry?
20 different
And 20 different answers. Yeah, that one there is green, believe it or not, although it's in black and white. It's dark green, it matches
Grass.
the doors, the surrounding area at the pavilion.
It might be better
It can
to
be red, it can be blue,
I was going to say
they
it might be
do
better to have a bright
all
colour
sorts
that
of
people
colours.
can see
You
if
might think it's a
far and
Yeah.
go together.
Well, it's not a fire hydrant, so you can't.
Can't have a
Or
red one.
it's not supposed to serve as a fire hydrant. So one should avoid having it fire hydrant colour.
Yellow attracts the bees, so you'll be getting stuff.
Well, with any luck, if it attracts the bees, then it will discourage the brats, so we won't have a very high water bill.
Blue? Would you like blue?
Well,
Blue for water?
Blue is generally associated with water.
No, that's true. Very true.
So we need an azure.
Shall we add blue to the recommendation?
That's very Mediterranean, Andy.
Well, if you have it a dark blue, you won't see the
That's
taxi,
true.
really, especially against the nice blue skies that we have.
Of course.
What colour? Why not black? Do we have black? Doesn't it come
It doesn't say that, it says 12 colours, it says nothing about black. Black is not a colour.
I know black isn't a colour.
We have a blue one for water.
Okay, so are we
Shall we
all
have a
agreed?
vote? Can we have a vote on blue?
I'm not voting on the colour.
I'm not voting on blue.
On a colour.
We could have a strike one. Come on, we spent...
Can I have a first one? Are we having the first?
Come on, ladies and gentlemen.
Decide on the colour.
What are we doing? Are we going
It's
for
going to be
the...
a blue one.
Option one.
It's going to be option 1, and it's going to be floor mounted.
Great, I'll second that.
Okay. Are we all happy?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep, lovely. Right, the suffragette planter, you will receive an additional photograph besides the one included in your papers.
It's certainly interesting looking plant.
That's the plan.
Does it come with all those miscellaneous bits as well?
I believe those are the feet. That's Levicha, but it stands in.
How much is this one?
Yeah, which one is that?
The blue one.
Do you know which one you want?
It's not in those pictures.
Oh, it's not in there. Right.
How much is that one again?
I really, I don't know because the research Debbie did was for the 2 that are in your
Oh, I see.
report, and then Susan, you went to look at the 3rd
No,
one, didn't you?
Debbie sent me to see this one.
Yeah.
She knew all about it.
The one with
Okay,
the
I'll get
feet
you-
is cheaper,
Yeah.
and the longer one is the dearer one.
Where's this one? This one?
No,
Yeah,
the cheapest one is the long, shallow one.
That's broken one.
There's a shallow, very shallow one.
It's the top one.
That's not very deep at all and wouldn't take a great depth of planting. Is the
It's not
cheapest
that one, it's that one.
Look, there's an A there and a B.
And this is
That's from
C.
Debbie's report, so that's the price. So the long,
Yeah,
How come we
and
don't
that
see
one
one?
is...
We don't know what this one costs.
It's more.
but that one's not in my
big one is
report.
more.
That's additional. I didn't know anything about that one.
How did I know?
I went down to them yesterday and there are 3 of them.
So Ben,
Yeah, there was a teensy shallow one, there was a medium
All
size...
I know is I believe this one that you've been to look at is cheaper than the others.
Can I just say that actually I went in there Monday and the big one, which I think is this one, is the most expensive, and he said he could do a deal on it but he'd have to be persuaded because it's a lot of money, the big one.
Because it does persuade them.
Oh, I thought he said it was between A and B.
I like the look of
That's
it.
what I had understood from Debbie as well, that it was cheaper than one of the other
Cheaper
ones.
than A, but dearer than B.
And then it's got
Like
to be
algebra.
delivered, hasn't it?
£50 is what
Well, the pictures and the cost should have been matched up before coming to the meeting, really.
Should really. Can I just, I know that
They are.
So, this is what...
I know we've talked about the trough and decided that we don't have a trough, but in view of the fact that it's so expensive, can we not go back to our original idea of having a garden? Because it would be cheaper, it would be more permanent, we could put perennial plants in there, whereas these troughs will only take annuals,
Yeah.
and we could put it in a place where it would be seen by a lot more people than having it sited at the Brockwood Centre.
There's the maintenance of a garden, whereas a trough is a permanent reminder with a plaque attached to it. That would be my only comment on that.
But you could still have a plaque next to a garden, couldn't
I
you?
know, but
And if you had it sort of a wild garden with the appropriate colours, I don't see that. I don't see the advantage in having.
I mean, we did discuss this at
I know
the
we did,
previous meeting. We did agree on a trough.
but we also agreed on about £500, and then it went up to 1,000, and now we're looking at more than 1,000, and maybe even 2,500, and it just seems a lot of money to me when we could be doing something much better that would be more permanent for the future. And if we had it somewhere in the park, it would be seen by a large number of people. It's greatly used by football teams. The children go that way to school and back that way from school, and I just think it would make much more of a statement than a trough in the car park at the Brockwood Centre.
Right, Pat.
Well, I mean, we did discuss this at length, and I think we came to the conclusion that because Flora Friends were struggling, and because they had already volunteered and had started working with the youngsters, particularly the maintenance, that we would go for something that could be here, so that the youngsters could be
Kept a better eye.
could actually be beside it and look after it, because they come here for their youth club.
Absolutely.
And I don't see how anything has changed. I'm just concerned that if it goes just as a garden at the park, it won't. No one will realise what it is. Whereas because we've already got wildflowers growing down there, and it would just be seen as something else. Where this was going to be something special. Yeah. If we had the resources and lots of staff, or Flora and Friends were prepared to keep it with its little sign, then yes. We haven't got that.
Yeah.
So I can't see any reason for changing our decision really, unless we can't afford the extra money.
I think we're all pretty much in agreement, apart from
With the planter as well, you've got to keep replanting it, haven't you? It's an ongoing thing.
Yeah, and you can change the look every year, and it's easy to keep an eye on it. It can be watered because it's close by. There's quite a few advantages for having it. Yeah, absolutely. You can change the look as well.
With regards to money, this would be coming out of SIL monies, so there is plenty of money that we need to spend.
You're on the thing.
Or if you don't want to spend that much, you can stick to the 1,000, and we'll come back and say there are no stone troughs available for that. So do you want to look at a wooden trough instead? If you don't want to spend that much, then there's that option as well. We could look at other troughs.
No, I think the stone trough is a statement. It's permanent. It blends with the landscape. It's high class, and I think women's suffrage deserves that kind of a statement. That's my personal opinion on that.
And it all lasts better than wood.
Exactly right. Dave.
Well, I'm going to support that, Chair. The only issue for me is
which one?
Area A or Area B. And I'm not sure about relocating the Cobra Rose because of other sensitivities with that. I'm not sure where Area B is. Is it over there?
Yes.
It's the angle.
Yeah. Right, okay. So, what's against Area B? Or what's in favour of it?
What's in favour of it? It seems to be at the edge of a vacant space at the moment.
I think the only thing you need to just make sure is that your fire exit is clear as you come out of that gate. Apart from that, nothing really. The backdrop could be tidied up a little bit, but nothing other than that.
What's the problem with moving the Cobra Rose?
Well, it's in a sizable space, I think. And I'm not sure whether all of that space will be needed by the trough.
Depends on which size we go for.
Yeah, because the
Because we
larger
measured
one
it
we
out, didn't
measured
we?
out, and it would take pretty
Take
much
it.
the whole of that strip.
I mean, I didn't even know it was the Kelber
Sure.
Rose because there was no plaque attached to it. And I said to Kim, I didn't even know we had a Kelber
Yeah.
Rose.
Well, they did provide it for us. And for those that are involved in twinning, I know it's an issue, and there were quite a lot of them. So I was just looking at whether Area B is satisfactory, subject to Kim's access issue, because the trough is not, it's long, but it's not that deep, wide.
Mm.
But I can't see the Planning Association being upset if it's next to the trees. It can't be memory of the chairman of the Twinning Association.
Roses will transplant if it's going to arise.
But I think it would be nice to put a plaque on that to say
Well,
that.
Exactly right. That's why I said to Kim at the time, we need to highlight that as the Kelber Rose. We can't just
No.
move it and then not label it because we need to know that is the Kelber Rose.
There's a couple of roses out there that have been dedicated by different people, though, isn't there? One of them was for
Councillor Thompson.
an ex-councillor, wasn't there? His wife had one put out there.
Perhaps we should.
Still.
Perhaps we should have it.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the point of having a special rose with
Yeah.
nothing to tell us that it is special?
Yeah, that's right. We could have a standard little plaque that we put on all of them, like they've got at Poole Court when they've planted the trees.
They're all uniform and just
And just what we do.
So we can do that, can't we?
Yeah.
So is there an issue
So are we moving them or
about,
keeping them?
is there an issue about whether, sorry Sue,
No, carry on, Dave.
Go, Dave.
is there an issue about, I mean, Floral Friends will advise whether Area A and Area B and how well the new trough will succeed. If it will succeed in both places, I don't see why we need to move the roses if there's more than one. And if we are going to move them, where are they going to go?
It's just said that.
I mean, the thing is with that area, it's quite exposed to the wind and it gets full sun, so you're going to have, you know, a certain range of plants. Over there, it's quite shady and damp, so you're going to have a shade-loving plants. You don't get such a wider choice of flowers for that sort of area.
I think
I'd only say that.
Area A is better, and it's going to be there for an awful long time, so we need to put it in the best place. And if that means moving the rose that isn't going to be there for a long time.
Well, I hope it's heavy enough, Chair, because down Harris Bottom, at the bottom, two very large troughs, stone troughs, disappeared overnight.
Did they?
I don't think the big one would move.
Is this one, is it partly one of these days?
I think it was about a team of people. They knew how much it cost or was valued.
Well, yes,
Anyway.
absolutely. So, are we agreed on area A?
Anyway, providing we're confident that we can move the rose tree without it dying.
Okay. And we want quite a deep trough because then the plants
I think this one's more
got plenty of root room.
This one with feet, isn't it? This one has got feet.
Provided this is within the budget,
These are expensive,
this one.
Yeah.
Just so that we can put it in the recommendation, because it's slightly higher in my recommendation.
Okay.
Just to allow us a bit of wiggle
what was
room.
the-
Mary wants us to recommend going for that one.
So long as it's within, if we can get it within the budget. Just because there is a date that we would like to try and capture with the Froome Valley Voice, because I can't remember which date, I think it's the 14th of December or around then that the women had their first vote. And as we're now at the end of the year, it would be nice if we could get some publicity and link all of that in. So if we can turn this around in time and get the trough and get it planted up and have a photo opportunity, with the plaque. It would be quite nice
Can
to
we
do
get the
that.
children in the photograph?
From the youth group,
Yes.
if they agree.
If they agree,
Yeah.
you can only be
If
in
they-
the photograph if they agree to
If they agree, yeah.
It would be nice to
Then
bring
they
the
can demonstrate
community
their
some
That's what we
Mm.
would like to do. We would like to have FFF with the youth group and the new planter, with
Floral friends and
all of them there in a photo opportunity
Yeah.
commemorating the day that they first had their vote. So,
brilliant.
Okay.
Can I just
Well done,
note
Liz.
that it's going to take rather a lot of compost, so that's going to have to be added to the budget.
yeah.
So my recommendation was
Does actually
delegated sum
cover that
up to
separately.
3,000, which I'm
Including
hoping
the compost.
Is
will
that
include the compost and the plants.
and the plaque
I'm
for,
hoping.
the plaque for the Cotterell Road?
I'm hoping. Still money.
Okay.
You'd like to give
You could
100
give me
for the
more
house.
You could give me a little bit more if you wanted.
I think that's enough.
Make
Do
the
my
flag
best. Naomi, can you just read back what we've agreed to, please?
Yes, that you will accept the recommendation put forward for Area A, provided that we can move the Calborough Rose without killing it, and that we will go with this stone trough, provided we can get that and all of the compost that's required and all of the plants required within the budget of £3,000.
Don't forget the flags.
The plaque
With the
on
plaques as well. With
and the
the
plaque on
plaques.
Calvary Road as well.
So you want the plaques for the Calborough Rose and the
I
former
think they
councillors
should
come
be
out of the
separate
same
from
budget?
that.
They would be from a
No,
different...
not on the same thing.
No,
Two separate.
yes, but
No,
different
separate
budgets.
budget.
Oh, a
For those
separate
plaques.
budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, we can definitely source those plaques.
So that they're uniform.
Because we should have
Yeah,
that anyway.
we should have them labelled
conversation
anyway.
about uniforms
Is there a
today.
plaque? Is there a plaque that comes with the trough? Is it
No, we would have one made to go, depending on where the trough was. Obviously, if it was against the wall, the plaque would go on the wall, but we'll need to look at one that will go on the actual trough itself. But we are getting...
Cool. Okay, are we all happy with that?
Yep.
Yep. Smashing. Thank you. The litter bin, Naomi informed me this evening that they needed a replacement litter bin at, where was it?
So, this is at the Meads,
Needs.
and this was put on the agenda by Kim because she thought that some of you might have received complaints from residents that South Gloss Council have removed the bin that's there because they said it was breaching health and safety. How can it breach health and safety?
Because it has
One,
no
because
hand.
it's overflowing, and B, because the design of it, in order for people to empty it and things, they have to put their hand right into it, which apparently breaches health and safety. So they contacted Kim about this, and Kim said you really need to get in touch with the management company. They didn't. They decided they would remove it anyway. So the residents have been up in arms about this because they no longer have a bin there. So I have spoken to Pinnacle, who are the management company, and I've made the connection between them and South Gloss, and they are now arguing it out. And South Gloss have said they will be putting or the bin back in place. I'm not sure if they'll be able to put the bin back in because I suspect some damage was caused to it. But a bin will be going back in place, so if any residents do mention this to you,
So
a bin will be put back.
it's a resolved
Councillors
problem.
is on the management committee, isn't he?
Say again,
Stephen.
sorry?
Yes.
Stephen, yeah.
He's on the committee.
Oh,
Anyway.
Pinnacle.
No, the management
Yeah.
committee of the Meads estate.
Yeah.
Stephen's on
Yeah,
the committee.
It's literally when you cross the road and go up that way, there's only one bin at the
You know, I'm
entrance to
just
the
saying
estate.
we really ought to let Stephen know what's going on.
Who ought to? South Gloss or
He's
Pinnacle?
our parish councillor, we should let him know.
Let the management committee know, really.
The management committee do know.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was on it.
They've
actually.
been in touch with you, or has he been in touch
You mean
with
Pinnacle?
you? No.
No, I didn't know Stephen was
Oh,
on it.
okay.
I didn't. But
Okay.
presumably Pinnacle can communicate that with their residents committee.
But there's going to be a new bin.
There is going to be either the
A
old bin will be put back,
A
or
bin.
a new bin will be put
Okay.
back.
Thank
They put
you.
it back if it doesn't.
They won't put
Meet
it back.
the
Well,
It
this
doesn't
was the problem, that apparently this is what Pinnacle have said, that it was signed off by South Gloss in the first place, so why on the earth are they now saying it doesn't meet with health and safety if they signed off in the first place?
The dog thing, because
Yeah.
when it was put in there,
It was not
dogs were in
intended,
separate
yeah.
bins.
It's been found alive about 10 times. So the bin that was there originally is not actually the original bin.
Okay.
Because when the kids
That explains it.
go down a lot, they tend to take off the door and then they take off the roof.
Okay.
And then they have to replace the door and then replace the roof. So it's all different colours, but it was. And then they came and took it away, which...
There we go. Extra information. Fantastic.
It's been valuable.
Right, so that was a bit of a non-event. Next, the purchase of the Christmas tree and refreshments for our carol service. We've actually got a proposal to vote upon.
Annual festivities.
Yes, I've just noticed that.
What,
And I've also noted that 200 and 200 equals 600, but
Yes.
we'll gloss over that. Are we happy
No, 600
to...
is the budget available.
Right,
It's,
okay.
it's not what it adds up to. The
Right.
budget.
We only
okay.
got 400. Why have we got an extra 200?
There you
Because
go.
we over budgeted it when we set up the budget last year.
Are we all happy with the proposal?
Yes.
Yes. Yes? Excellent. Thank you.
We didn't notice this.
£400 spend out of a £600 budget.
It's already there, I didn't.
Right.
Christmas tree
Moving on.
Change
Minutes
the title
of
of
the
to Christmas
Frampton
festivities.
Festival Committee for information.
Christmas tree, Christmas lights.
Sorry. I was having a conversation.
Naughty. Smack.
Because I didn't see that in the budget papers, the Christmas festivities budget.
No, I didn't either. I just
There.
added the two
It's
together.
there.
I would
Right.
have thought if we got a Christmas festivities budget, it would include those blooming lights out there, which would swamp the
The
cost
600.
of 600 quid.
There was 600 left from your street lighting.
Ah,
Ah. So we can
So
take...
Christmas as a whole covers street lighting, Christmas trees, refreshments, carols around the tree,
Oh, okay.
Christmas. £600 left, £400 for
Have you
carols,
found it finally?
£200.
For presents for the children that come to the party.
Who's dressing
Have
up
you
as
found
a...
it?
I haven't, Jill hasn't said that she sent the letters out, but she's not said whether anybody's responded yet. Does anybody have any suggestions for food? Because we were just sort of, we didn't know what to do. Are we just going to do finger buffet? Is that what everybody wants? Finger buffet?
Yeah.
Sausage rolls?
Yeah.
Christmas cake? Mince pies?
Mixture. Suit everyone.
Anything Christmassy that takes your fancy. I'll do the Christmas cakes, I promise those.
Will there be any savouries?
That's sausage rolls, yeah.
All right.
Pizza.
Vegetarian, please.
I don't know. Cocktails.
will there be any salt and sugar free ones?
I mean, anything continental might be nice. Something...
I didn't put that on me.
Pulled pork.
Get the
Slow
twins
cooker,
to
job
do
done.
it.
It's Mexican pulled pork and rolls. That would be lovely.
We have
There
some
you go.
vegetarian options.
Yeah, no, that would be
Pulled
smashing.
courgette.
They're talking now.
Pulled
Sorry, yes, no, bad.
Discussing food.
Yes, no, it's my favourite subject actually. Yeah, Kim came up with pulled pork and rolls.
I think that's cruelty to porks.
It means the pork didn't die in vain.
Do you not think that might be difficult to say?
No, it's not, is it?
You stick it in the slow cooker. You
Oh, I
pull
know-
it
I know
apart
how to
and
cook
people
it.
just go like that in a roll.
I know how to do it, but but I do think it's probably, it's not so easy to eat as things like sausage rolls and a slice of pizza and a mince pie and,
It gets stuck
Okay.
in
you
your
know,
teeth.
it gets in your fingers and
Well, it was a suggestion.
thank you for your
You're
suggestion.
very welcome.
I think it was very good, Kim.
Well, why don't
That's
you email people round and say if they can come up with anything, you'd be delighted.
We can do both, come on.
Yeah. Right.
Don't want to make one, do we?
Okay. Moving on then. The the minutes of the Frampton Fest Committee for information. Don't think there was anything arising from that, was there?
No, just the wanted to raise your attention to the fact that they have noted our feedback with regards to the
Yes.
car parking issues.
Yes.
So
That's
hopefully
cool.
next year will not be such a problem.
Okay. Fine.
So it's 2 days this time, it says.
Sorry, Pat.
So, is the second day for the
Oh, the
church
second day is
service?
the church. The church is together.
Right, so it's the day after. Right.
Okay. Moving on to the Beesmore Road or Frampton Cotterell Playing Field Committee. There was quite a lot of reading there. It all looked very positive, I'm happy to say. All those minutes.
Some people have worked really hard on that committee.
I just have one thing that I would really like the council, if they could ask Edwina to feed back. The meeting on the 6th of November,
What page are you on, Kim?
34.
34.
She says, is it? Item 4 suggests that the PC resubmit the MAF application to avoid the VAT element, which A is illegal and B is not possible. I'm in the process of speaking to Rachel Williams-Locke at the moment. So the MAF application, the way I see it, would work the same as the funding for the play equipment. We would either go in together as a joint application, the parish council and the committee, or the committee would apply. So I think the confusion has come from the parish council owning the land, but I believe the trustee then comes into play. And although we own the land, that then changes the way we apply for funding. So it shouldn't stop anything, but we might have to resubmit an application. And we certainly can't save the VAT, buy the materials and save the VAT and pass it on.
Yeah, can I say that this year, when they had their festival, I gave them a grant
Are you
for
talking about
a
the
group.
festival or the...
I'm talking about the festival.
Oh, this is
We've
not
moved
Beesmore
on
Road.
from that, right? Okay.
No, we're talking
Because
about
VAT
the solar
didn't apply.
panels.
Because it was a band that topped the event.
But it was the grant people
Okay.
that actually said that because we own the playing field, that means we own the pavilion, and therefore the parish council had to apply for the grant.
So if you look at that in slightly wider terms, why do we have a management committee? Because we could
Yeah, I'm just
potentially,
saying what
I
they
get that,
said.
and that's why I'm in discussions with Rachel.
Yeah.
Because we could buy anything, play equipment, put it down, but that you know that's not possible.
Well, we did it before when we thought we owned it. We always have done that when we thought we owned it.
But it was illegal.
It's not the same as when you buy it on behalf of someone else. If it's your property, anything on, unless that advice is wrong, anything that is on that field is the property of the parish council. And that's why in the past we haven't had to we went into it over planning consent before, because we were challenged about needing planning consent and insisted that we didn't, because unless it's over a certain height, the parish council is the owner of it because it's on fee. So that's
And they're in the process of getting that planning application feedback, aren't they?
well, that's a different. Yeah, wasn't that one? It was the other stuff that people.
I mean, we don't want to do anything illegal, but
Oh, we don't.
equally we
Well, we were told by Rachel we would be doing something illegal if we didn't, as the parish council.
Well, I'm not sure
and
she
the owner to do
realises about the trustee, so I need to let her have a copy of that. She needs to read that.
Well, what she took was Naomi's comments on ownership, and as a consequence, she said the parish council must apply for the solar panels on the roof, and if they do, because they own the land and it's a parish council application, they do not have to pay VAT. It's right, the same principle applies to play equipment. If it's on our land, it's ours.
There's certainly the advice we've had before, and the advice we had donkeys years ago down at the park when we
But we
were doing
suggested that years ago, didn't we? It's still not happened. I mean, we're still fighting it.
You've had further advice since then, though, haven't you, about the play equipment, and that's why
But
Beesmore Road have had to
playing
buy the play equipment, and we've had to donate the funds because the trustee blocks.
Yeah.
Well, that was
Us
before
from
we had
just
the
buying.
that was before we had the solicitor's advice.
Yeah, exactly.
That was before.
Because
we
we
had
had
the solicitor's
advice
advice.
from DK Beaver on the VAT and how to apply for
that was
funding.
before
And
we
on the
had the
trustee.
advice that we owned it. This last
See what
legal
you mean?
advice is different.
It's a very important issue because the amount of VAT for the play equipment is huge.
absolutely.
So
I
if
thought
Naomi's
we'd done this question
have.
to death.
yeah, well, Naomi's note was the latest, based on the latest legal information, and it's really important to be more of an Open Committee.
Can we add that to the list of questions for Loxley's?
I think
If it's not already on there.
Beesmore Road Playing Field Committee insists that the pavilion is theirs.
It's not on there.
well, it is.
Not on that.
And if it's, no, well, they say it's theirs, and
It is.
the panels are going on that, so I don't think it's I think it's a different issue, isn't
Well,
it?
Naomi clarified it, and it was accepted by South Gloucestershire Council, and we changed the application to the Parish Council. And if it applied to the pavilion, it will apply to the play area, unless Naomi says otherwise. But it's a principle.
The principle, it will apply if the trust deed overrides what the solicitor has said about the ownership. The wording in there, then that's different, but it'll apply to everything.
Okay. It's clear that we need to clarify that completely and utterly.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Loxley's or the barrister need to be asked that question.
Yes, the trustee did a little fly in the ointment, we don't know how that. But down at the park, the cricket club built the pavilion, and then we found out, didn't we, that we owned it,
Exactly.
even though they built it because it was on our land.
It's the
Well,
same
they were
principle.
certainly not best pleased.
No, they weren't.
And they contested it. It was quite unpleasant at the time.
We will clarify further. Okay, anything else arising from the minutes regarding Beesmore Road? I don't think so. We've got some policies for adoption. The first one is the debt recovery policy. As far as I'm aware, and Naomi confirmed this evening, we've not had any bad debts, nor hopefully, touch wood, are we likely to have any, but according to the auditor, we need a policy anyway.
I think there's one or two things.
We have a process, we just don't have the policy that backs up the process.
Just a second.
There are one or two things that need to be
Amended?
amended.
Okay. Go for it,
Do you
Andy.
wish to go through? So page one was easy, there should be a capital P for parish. But where practical and efficient, item 5, raising of invoices. Third paragraph down, where practical and efficient, advance payment shall be requested for services. This minimises the financial risk.
To the council, full stop.
To the council, full stop. Next but one paragraph finishes by saying, where the invoice relates to a continuing hire, etc., invoices shall be issued periodically as agreed, as soon as possible after the end of each period. Do you want them paying in advance or in arrears?
Rent is normally paid in advance.
Well, all I'm saying is
It should be one or the other.
just one of them should apply.
Yeah.
So at the end of each period, but for the next period coming, so at the end of each quarter you'll be issued the invoice for the coming quarter.
No, I can see what Andy's saying.
This doesn't
It
say
depends on whether you mean periodically as and when, or periodically referring to a specific period. And that needs to be clarified.
Yeah, but it says
After the end.
sort of after the end of each period. And you know,
Rents are normally paid in advance, aren't they?
So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Kim, I understood that to be that at the end of, for example, each period that's agreed, so say each quarter, at the end of each quarter, you will then be issued the invoice for the next quarter in advance.
that's not
It's
what
not
it
clear
says.
enough.
This isn't what it says.
It
And if somebody else comes to pick it up at some point in the future, they're going to do the wrong thing, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's just a little tweak.
Important little tweak.
Yes, it is.
And
Various places, the spelling of debt wanders around and changes. Sometimes it has a T
Is that all?
and sometimes it hasn't.
okay.
All debts should be paid in full by the due date.
That's actually
Exactly.
it's Debbie in the office.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's going to be paid.
What, Debbie?
And similarly, under 10, disputed invoices, the second line down, right in the middle, each invoice will bear the contact details of the clerk RFO, which says should be contacted to resolve any initial problems or queries, as she will hold the
Yeah.
information to
Yeah.
resolve it. They, I suggest.
Absolutely.
A lot further down, the aim should be to resolve disputes within 1 week. Where this is not possible, close monitoring should follow with the objective or resolving as soon as possible.
Resolve.
I assume it's of resolving it.
Where are
Where
you?
are you
Sorry.
looking, Andy?
There.
Oh, I'm too far down.
Do you charge VAT on bookings?
Yeah, I charge for it every time.
Only if that is applicable.
Personally, Andy.
I thought it was
No. So if you have block bookings are not applicable. Use of the kitchen, cooking, that's applicable.
Yeah, well,
So it just depends on the booking.
that is highly confusing. That particular element of hire. I don't
Local
know whether-
government VAT is confusing.
Okay.
It's not like normal business VAT.
And any more, Andy?
Action to prevent recurrence. Recovery action under 11. There's no mention of how you're going to stop this happening again, whether by blacklisting or only getting the money first. Honest gov. And recovering the costs where you have where a case has been passed to the court for collection. You need to actually recover the cost for referral to whomever for the recovery of that.
Could I raise
No, we
one?
can come back to if she needs anything clarified, Andy. Many thanks, Andy.
Always rely on you.
It's nice to know people. Oh, sorry, Pat.
Does it
People read them.
have to go into the public domain, but if it's less than £100, we write it off? That seems to me a pretty daft thing to let people know. I mean, can't we just leave it that it gets reported to the Finance and General Purposes Committee, and then they will
So there's a
privately make the decision.
transparency code.
It's too transparent.
Transparent.
So any expenditure over 500, you should report. We report everything because we've got nothing to hide. So I'm just wondering whether we raise that in line.
I mean, wouldn't the transparency of publishing in the minutes of Finance and General Purposes the following debt is proposed for writing
Would be-
off, which is what
could
they
be
do in
enough,
South Gloucestershire. They don't say we write it off if it's less than anything.
Could you not just
Goes, Sue.
could you not just have a sentence, if the total value of the customer's debt is considered by the RFO uneconomic to pursue further, the invoice will be flagged to the council awaiting write-off, and that way if you miss out that chunk, is less than 100 and just write that out. If the total value of the customer's debt is not considered by the RFO uneconomic to pursue further, just take out the figure.
Okay.
Because then
Can
they
I
don't
ask
know
a
then, do they?
stupid question? What do we propose doing with this policy once we've got it? Do we just put it on our website and refer to it in our invoices? You know, I hope we're not
It's a
going to provide everyone a copy
it's
of
No,
it.
it's a policy for the office really,
Yeah.
and to give to the auditor that you
If they
Okay.
ask.
you
Yeah.
have a
Speaking to the
policy
auditor,
for dealing
why-
with debt.
Why you've given everybody in the parish to have an overdraft of £100 courtesy of the parish?
Free of
Free of
Okie doke. Are we all happy with that? And that we should adopt it with the amendments as recommended?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. The lovely health and safety policy. Are there any amendments to this, Andy? And if so, please can you give them to Naomi rather than running through them, because I'd much rather get on to planning actually, if it's all the same to you.
resident assessments of working activities and the working environment.
Has anyone got any comment on the actual ethos of the policy?
No.
No.
I do think we're in breach, but we've talked about that before.
Okay. So Andy will let Naomi have his corrections. IDC.
Which one are you talking about? Health and safety?
Health and safety one.
Health and safety.
Okay. I'm happy with
So
that.
subject to Andy's corrections, are we happy to accept the health and safety policy?
As long as they're not major changes.
I wouldn't change anything major. Ensure that work activities by the parish council do not unreasonably jeopardise the health and safety of members of the public.
Yeah, that's pretty major.
You mean
Okay. I take it that's a go then. Oh,
Just
Pat.
raise one thing, sorry, but in the last paragraph, where it says that all employees, etc., won't intentionally interfere or remove safety guards, it doesn't, I didn't spot it saying anywhere that if safety guards had been removed, that we would replace them within a certain length of time, as quickly as possible or something. Should that not be in?
No.
So you're looking at D on the
I'm
last
looking at D,
page.
you know, it says you shouldn't interfere or remove them, but if somebody does interfere and remove them, should we not have something in there that means that commits us to replacing it within a certain
Yeah.
period of time?
You don't feel that F covers that any incidents or hazardous incidents are reported to the clerk?
Because it should read all, not any.
Okay. So I'll just put I'll put underneath or with F that any that are removed or found to be removed will be replaced.
Or you can throw the equipment away.
Will be
In which case
replaced
it wouldn't
where
be
necessary.
where appropriate.
Cool.
Appropriate action will be taken to make it safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Happy with that? Yeah. All happy with that? Yeah.
I
Good.
think
Thank you.
there's something missing.
The green non-standard use of parish playing fields and green spaces. That's an application form for approval. I think the last time we were asked about that sort of thing was when someone wanted to have a wedding at the Centenary Field.
So
And they pulled out.
we get a few sort of annual
hot air balloons. The Scouts wanted to have a hot air balloon. We thought it might be a good idea to have.
Yeah, we have the annual Globe Trot now, which is one of the school's PTAs running event.
Yes.
It would help us to have a proper application
Cool.
form for these things.
Can we put in there somewhere? I don't know where you put it. The football and rugby and cricket, which is it's really good. It says it can be used by local teams. But there was a little bit of subletting at one time, and I just don't know how we put an end to it.
But that's not within that. That would be within their agreements.
Okay.
So if you want to review those agreements,
That sounds
we can do that next
rugby-
Tuesday. I'll put it on the agenda.
No, the cricket was subletting.
Well, we just check. Has some sort of the council made overriding to the play area to us? Because it never was ours.
We pay Peppercorn rent for that. Riding through?
I don't know, it's just that we've got it down there saying that.
Oh, what are you looking at, sorry?
Looking at one, which
Oh,
says that we own
yeah,
it.
Oh, okay. I can amend that.
Can we ask if they transfer it?
Sorry, say that again,
I think
Susan.
they'd be too happy to transfer it
Well,
to
yes,
us,
but it's
personally.
not. I think we should be picking up as much as we can.
We can, because we're to pay for it anyway.
Yes, we're paying for it
anything.
anyway.
What
We
was
might
that?
want to build some houses on it or something.
Riders Road.
Petrol on it, Susan.
Yeah.
Is that a resolution that you'd like us to...
Well, I think we're in danger of it
Us?
getting transferred to loan if
So-
we don't get it. Can we make that decision on the back of this, Naomi, or does it have to go on the agenda?
It's woolly.
It is a bit woolly.
We could raise it next week at finance. If you like, we
You
can...
could find out how they react and then you could tell us and then we can make a decision.
So I would say
No, we'd like a brief from the
pretty
council of what
tenuous,
you would like us
actually.
to ask.
That's what I
Thank
would
you.
say,
So it gets us in
actually.
trouble.
Ask whether, I think we could make, if we just...
I mean, whilst I agree with it, I still think it's fairly tenuous.
We can itemise it for next week.
yes.
Finance and look at the rental and the possibility of...
The only thing you might alert them to is the
Transfer.
fact that they're not charging as much rent.
No, it's the Peppercorn. They know.
But
No,
I
there's
think
just
it-
the danger that they have to...
Yes.
That's all.
we need to keep these spaces for play, really.
If I go for the Willow Way one as well, then we can have more games.
Last time it was tentatively suggested that there might be a possibility that under some circumstances we might offer it back to South Gloucestershire. There was absolute hue and cry and uproar over it, wasn't there?
That's all.
Absolutely.
Well, we shouldn't offer it back.
Oh, good.
That one was
Well, that's fairly interesting. Okay, have we got any amendments to the document besides the rather interesting meander that we took there?
Well, play equipment there. Sorry. Yeah, I want you to put in fixed in front of play equipment under paragraph 1.
Fixed play equipment.
Yeah, because otherwise it infers that you're going to provide bats and balls for children, and you're not.
Sorry, where am I, Andy?
Introduction,
Yeah.
last sentence.
Play equipment is provided and maintained
But
for age-specific
play
children,
equipment.
for children of a specific age.
And under paragraph 2 requests, line 2 of that, and use can only take place if prior permission is granted by the parish council.
Very good.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Could I just ask again on the back of this, this specifically refers to plenties and green spaces. The thing I remember happening was the request to use the car park.
That comes under the car park and the bylaws, which says that you're only allowed to drive onto it and drive off it, not wander around the place to...
No, we did have a big debate about how much we should charge them for using it.
You can't use a car park for something else if
Well,
it's
there's
ancillary.
spotty lot, the spotty, what do they call them?
Boot camp.
Once you turn around and say they're not doing something that's permitted by the bylaws, then you can say, oh, well, if you like, we could licence you to do that separately. A licence will cost you £600
Well,
a week.
that was what the argument was about, what we were going to charge them, not that whether they could use it or not.
I don't know.
Do they use it?
I don't know
No.
whether they used it. They didn't.
Not anymore.
No, they pay someone else a nice big fat rent.
There you go.
We're going to charge them more than they thought they should pay.
That seems to happen a lot.
Shut up.
We've got to hold the line, haven't we?
So we don't include the car park with the green spaces.
Oh, no.
You contradict, wouldn't it?
I was reading the Bibles only the other day.
Exactly.
Some person that I am.
Okay, anything else?
No.
All happy to accept that, subject to those amendments?
Yep.
Yep, lovely. Finance, that's for information only.
Can we kindly request that whoever prints it out, print all of the information and not just the middle bit? Well, I've got the middle bit here. Unfortunately, there's a number missing from every number on the left-hand side of the page.
Well,
And
that's where the holes are punched
No.
in the original.
every number Every date has only a single character before the slash.
Well, sorry,
And
that's
as
the
far as I'm
copier.
aware,
I can do my best with the copier, however, it has a
Yeah.
mind of its own.
I must admit,
Bit
when I
like-
did the checking, it threw me completely because I thought,
yeah, I know. I've had that problem many times.
It's
I've
because
had to figure out what nurseries actually have.
when all that's put through, it jigs
No,
it as
it's
it
on the
goes through.
original.
no, it's
No, it's not
20
there on the
times.
original.
okay. Noted. Thank you, Andy.
It has.
Um, if you look on this, you'll also find it's trimming the other edge.
Okay, there's some consultations in addition to the one that Pat highlighted earlier for our delectation.
And there will be another one, which isn't on there, which is the old local transport.
It's consultation season, isn't it? Yeah.
But I think we'll probably want that one on the agenda.
It's the transport one.
Which one? Oh, no idea.
Which one's
Joint spatial.
Oh yeah,
I've got
but
that.
that we've
Came
already,
through
we've already
today.
mentioned that, yeah.
And the joint transport.
And the joint transport.
Yes.
Okay. So that's all noted. Planning.
I think it's this side too.
This,
Yeah, here.
Behind the
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
You got the buttons? Yeah. Would you like to look
Thank you, really helpful. Thanks very much.
special lighting she gets. Right, have we got... No, we haven't got anything. Okay, I'll read out the reference. It's PT 184944F, 119 Bristol Road, erection of 5 detached dormer bungalows and associated works as an amendment to previously approved scheme, which was for the erection of 3 dwelling houses, so that's replaced that.
Actually, Madam Chairman, it's included further land. The area asked for increases the amount of land in intrusion into the green belts.
Right.
We should also note that despite the fact that this land is outside the settlement boundary, the purpose of the houses is not for farm workers or for affordable houses. These houses cannot by any stretch of the imagination be termed affordable houses. They are full market houses as is declared on the application form. Therefore, they don't meet the requirements of the appropriate BPF.
Who's the applicant?
Pardon?
Who's the applicant?
Same person as the one who was first time round.
Spencer Connection.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go around there and say, you're not going to give you permission, you should give us a try.
This is the one that Pat and Dave called in, wasn't it?
Yes. But you'll also notice on this one that they extended the access drive, which wasn't there before, through between plot 1 and 2, and that goes on deliberately to a gate onto the next paddock.
Yeah.
All of that land is greenbelt.
Yeah. So I'm guessing we're objecting for all of those reasons.
The local residents are also objecting because the drive that is put in there, otherwise known as an access drive, results in anybody coming down it after dark, shining their headlamp straight into the houses on the other side of the road, thereby interfering with their privacy and peaceful
Enjoyment of their surroundings.
I'd like to add one because I went and talked to the people immediately opposite at 126. on the original plans, there were 3 trees that were actually on the frontage onto Bristol Road, screening the new development. And having lost the green belt through the approved application, losing the trees, which provide some form of respite, is, I think, unacceptable and unnecessary. It's normal for landscaping to apply to new developments, and I think we ought to support the residents in actually requesting that there is landscaping on Bristol Road, which will help a little.
If it goes ahead.
Okay. Can you not see it being turned down by South Gloss then?
Because of the first application that got approved, the principle of building on the green belt was broached.
They accepted that it was an infill site. But the danger with this is that it makes someone else an infill site.
So this says landscaping, existing trees and hedge to site boundaries will be retained. New hedging proposed to divide the plots, and the front garden will be laid to lawn. It also says...
We're
Dave's asking for sympathetic planting to reduce the impact on the...
There will be landscape areas within the front and rear to enhance the appearance of the development.
But they're not shown. The trees
Right.
and landscaping
On the
are
original.
normally shown on the plan, and they're not.
They're not there.
Okay.
And the St Ben's.
Well,
This is
you get the
the
sense
parallel behind.
that the 3 buildings that they've shown on the plan have actually been moved forward towards the road slightly.
But it's clear it's more like a little estate than an infill building, isn't it?
Oh yes, it is an
It's a
estate.
small estate. And is there not an issue with traffic
No,
there?
Bristol
Have
Road.
we not put something
Who
about
lives at Mason?
There is
The
terrible
danger.
issue with traffic at the moment because the site, the lorries accessing the site block Bristol Road
Did they?
every morning.
Yes, there is that.
Say nothing of all the traffic lights to do with the drainage.
Yeah.
Mm.
And there were more traffic lights for something else the other day.
Yes, don't get me started on traffic.
And then
Okay.
Frampton Lane was closed and it was
Yeah.
So have we caught everything we need to say about that? Okay.
Well, are you saying that this has greater impact on the green belt
Yes.
than the approved scheme? Because they look at the approved scheme and see if this is any worse.
Well, this is another 2 houses, isn't it?
Yeah, but they've further intruded into the green belt, etc. And it's a vast increase in the intrusion.
There's also an increase exiting
Yeah.
onto and into off Bristol Road. So there are issues about increased traffic leaving the site and going on to the site.
Okay. I think we've caught all of that. Thank you. Moving on to the next one, which looks equally controversial. PT 184975F. Land to the rear of 51 and 53 Church Road. Erection of 2 dwellings and detached garages. Creation of driveway and associated works. Great.
The only thing that's surprising about this one is that they haven't put in that they want to demolish the 2 bungalows that are there already.
How are they going to get into them?
Well, they're putting a road through between the 2.
Where is that in Church Road?
And next to the Star.
Yes, right next to the next system.
The star is the building on the to the right of that space.
Yeah, and has set a precedent.
They've built all
Because
behind it.
they've built behind it, and
Yeah.
there's another one with them built behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was a developer, I'd not been down that way.
Well,
That's what they want to do.
So you don't think we can object on past
you can
precedent?
see they were squeezing between the two.
Mm.
It's only
3
not-
metres is what it's showing there, if I'm not much mistaken.
Mm.
Is that wide enough for access for fire and rescue?
Who's the applicant on that? Morrison?
Well, we can put that down as a query for sure, can't
I
we?
think it's Thing's son. You haven't got it? And
This is on the design and
Mr. Cake's
access.
son built the ones behind the store. It does quite nice. That's
A good picture.
It does make an effort.
Yes, it does. His son's sort of gone out on his own now. I think it's a shame to lose the garden, isn't it?
It is, but you could put them somewhere.
Yeah. And the trees.
So that's the one at the back, isn't it? That white one in the middle.
Certainly access doesn't look very wide, does it? It's
Mm.
an awful problem
Yeah.
with parking. Terrible problem on the parking one.
Yeah, well,
By the star,
was-
up that little slope and by the corner of the road, they park all over the place.
they've had the gas mains up along there, I think.
Is it?
Well, it was lots of yellow pipe, so I assume it's gas.
So are we objecting, or are we just saying no objection but subject to access for fire and rescue vehicles?
I think there's an issue, Chair, on the impact on the amenity of the two existing properties, creating a road that, or an access that goes right up to their walls.
Yeah.
It's a
They must have given some sort of assent, mustn't they?
Is that an objection then?
well, I think it's worth noting for them to consider because it's very unusual.
Okay.
I think we need to be careful if we are objecting to make sure we say we're objecting, because that then triggers it going on the circulated
Yeah.
schedule.
For a site visit, potentially.
Well, not necessarily for a site visit,
Potentially.
but it's a bit difficult getting a site
Yeah,
visit.
I know, but it's potentially.
But
Okay.
it won't even go on the circulated schedule unless you object.
Not all happy with that? Yep. Okay. Moving on to the last one, which is PT 184978F, 25 Clyde Road, and that's a 2-storey side extension and partial loft conversion, including 3 front dormers.
That's a lot.
Interesting parking.
Yes, don't think that complies with the normal thing. They'll turn around and say you can't
It's
get
not
in.
fooling anyone, is it really? Someone's just gone
that
stand.
is not wide enough anyway. But,
Okay. Andy, have you got any comments on this?
well, it does not distinguish between the original and the extension by setback or change of roof line or what have you. Parking is dreadful. The new dormer windows go onto a storage area, which I find very puzzling. That's already there. There's a dormer storage area. Why do you want to go to all that effort to put dormers on there?
Because it's not a storage area.
Oh, I wonder if it would
and the
be,
size of the ensuite
be
with
one
a
of
door
those, dressing rooms.
Into
Both-
the storage area.
And then
into
that
the
will turn it into
storage
an
area.
official bedroom until they sell it. And then they put it back to storage when they sell it.
It wouldn't stop the,
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, is that what you said?
Yeah.
whatever the plans are, once it's built, it wouldn't stop the occupants using that storage area for whatever purpose they want.
Exactly
Yeah,
right.
agreed.
You can't speculate on
No.
future plans.
We can't, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Fun though it is.
There's a very large ensuite, I noted, but
Are we going to object to this?
Yeah, yes, I think so. Sorry. Too big.
overall I think it's overdevelopment.
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone else feel that it's overdevelopment and we should be objecting?
Yes.
And
That's
the new
two.
garage is not a
Okay.
garage because it's only 2.2 metres wide.
Okay. Right.
And therefore
Looks
the-
like we're objecting. If we're all happy with that.
And the parking isn't adequate.
And for the ridiculous parking.
No.
Okay, got that. Okay. That concludes our planning, ladies and gentlemen. And we move on to the last item, I believe. Because there's nothing that the chair decides urgent, so then we move to the item number 9, which is where the press and public are excluded. So that concludes our meeting for this evening.
Thank you for coming, Andrew. I hope it results in more people coming forward to stand for election next May.
Yeah. They might think one seat never back there.
Okay, that's going to conclude the streaming for now. The council meeting is pretty much over. There is one left to do on their agenda, but unfortunately that's confidential. So until next time, thanks for watching and goodbye.